Hey everybody, week 5. All right, so got a bundle of good stuff going on this week. So at this point, you should be comfortable using your camera, have a good sense of shutter speeds, understanding what depth of field is doing, have looked at some photographers, you're digging deeper, you're getting a sense of understanding how collections work in Lightroom, when you're using them, how you're using that to organize your work. Lightroom should be starting to coalesce into a pretty good place here. So week 5, what we're going to do is expand our camera knowledge just a little bit, and then you are digging deeper into more portrait photographers, and we're going to get ready for shooting our portrait assignment, which is happening in a slightly compressed time frame so that we can get the photos and then we can concentrate on editing. And as we're doing all of that, we're going to start thinking about your final project photo essay, because the term is going to be upon us more quickly than you think it's going to be. So things that are happening, you've got metering explained. So it's a short YouTube video about how the light meter inside your camera works. I was thinking about making one myself, but this guy, Benjamin, did such an awesome job that his video has got more production value than mine's going to have, and he hits everything kind of right on the mark. What you want to remember with that is that the camera meter is metering everything to middle gray. So if you photograph something that's white, it's going to make it gray. If you're photographing something that's black, it's going to try to make that gray. And if you remember that concept, you're going to have a much better time understanding how your light meter works and when you need to override it. Just a quick pro tip: when you're using one of the auto modes, such as aperture priority, shutter priority, or program, the plus minus button on your camera is the exposure compensation, and you can dial it in to over or underexpose by a certain value. There's your pro tip for the day. Next up, we're going to be looking at focal length and how focal length affects depth of field, and how you can use focal length to really kind of set a tone and a feeling in these images that you're making. And it's something to be thinking about as you're looking at the portrait photographers this week. What lens selection are they making? How are they determining what their background is looking like? What do they want to include? What don't they want to include? And then you can be thinking the same thing, like, what is it that I want to include in my photographs or leave out? What's important? What adds to my story or takes away from my story? Because as we're making portraits, as we're making photographs in general, we're telling stories, and it's really important to be thinking about what it is that you want to have as part of your story. Got a little bit of reading to do in Zen post-production. Chapters 8 and 9 are going to be really helpful this week and into next week. So be moving into that. There will be a quiz next week on Lightroom and camera stuff. So just keep that in the back of your mind that that's coming at you. You've got four main photographers that you're going to be looking at: Avedon, Leibowitz, Scholler, and one more. And I'm just like skimming the surface on those because there's so many other great photographers out there to be checking out. So enjoy that. Look at it. There's a lot of material there. If something you're like, I can't take any more Annie Leibovitz, skip over some of that and find the things that you like. When in doubt, what I do want you to do is do a Google image search for those photographers so you can see more of their work in even a bigger context, and there's so much out there. So they're prolific. Oh, Pluton, that's the other one. All right, found a sweet little piece about space shuttle photographs made in the early 1980s with a Hasselblad camera system. So I put that in the supplemental because it was just an interesting read. I'm a nerd, so I like that stuff. I am going to be at Oakshire Public House July 24th in the afternoon, early evening. Swing on by. I'm going to sit outside. I'll have my 2 dogs with me. and a camera on the table, and I look like this. So swing on by if you got camera questions. You just want to shake my hand, meet me, or you want to tell me how lousy the class is. You can do all of that right there. So 4 to 6:45 p.m. Oakshire Public House over on Madison Street. Looking forward to seeing you over there. Activities, we've got a discussion forum on Avedon, Leibowitz, Pluton, and Scholler. You've got portrait research to do, and your portrait photography assignment is being given to you now. That assignment is in this compressed time frame, so that's due the 29th of July. And then you need your photographs made by then, and then your project edits are going to happen after that. And what we're going to do with those project edits is I'm going to create a forum where you can post your images that you want to use and some edits examples, and then we're going to comment in as to yes, no, or do some of this and do some of that. I know that's a little bit of a deviation for us at this point, but I feel like we got to get a little more hands-on as to where we're at with things. If you want to bring any work to show me at the pub, feel free to do that. We're now sliding down on the last slide here for our class, so it's all downhill, as they say. So our final project ideas are going to happen. You need to have 3 final project ideas done by the 27th of July, and you can look those up, go through that, look at the final project. It's a photo essay. You're going to have 6 final photographs. You're going to find a topic that you find really interesting and compelling and make photographs about that topic. You're going to turn everything in. We're going to critique it online together. And so with this portrait project, it's kind of a warm-up into getting that final project done. The final project is theme-based, and it can be any topic that you're interested in. So you don't need to say, oh, I have to photograph gravel. It can be whatever you want it to be. So very open-ended there, and it's always a lot of fun. All right, that kind of gives us everything we've got going on for week 5. Fire away with questions, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.